Piece anime episode 1015. So, for the first time ever on our show, we will be discussing the anime.
Is that true? That's not true.
Well, we've slandered it before, but we've never directly reviewed an episode.
True.
Yeah.
So, One Piece episode 1015 shook the anime community and has been trending ever since. What did you guys think about this episode, and did it surpass your expectations, Lionel?
I actually thought it was pretty good. Like, I dropped. I was planning on reading the anime back, but I haven't read or watched episodes in a minute. But Larry said watch the episode, and it was actually really good. Like, I actually watched the episode and went back to in the manga, and they actually did a pretty good job. Like, certain things I even noticed that they had in the manga, they actually did pretty good in the anime. I think it was actually a really good. Plus the emotion, the guy, like, the fact that they went to Yamato's, like, because I never even thought how Yamato reacted when Ace's Vivi card disappeared. She mentioned it, but we never saw Yamato's emotion, like her going through seeing Ace's Vivi card disappearing and her, like, being angry about that, because again, she made a promise to Ace, So, like, it was very emotional, and plus, that big scene when Luffy faces Kaido, and, like, it was really good. Like, I forgot certain things happened, but again, that's how, like, the anime gives it credit because, like, they bring that emotion on. You see it and you read it in the manga, but the anime also opens that up more because you hear the voices, you see the more visual, and it's actually more intense in the anime. So, like, anime did a good job on that chapter.
1 out of 10.
I would say it was probably an 8. I give it an 8.
I like the energy that Lionel's rolling with today. He was very loud with it. He knew exactly what he wanted to say. I appreciate that. Yeah, Law?
No, I agree with Lionel because we ended up watching it together, pretty much, and not that I had high expectations or low expectations of it, but it did make me actually want to start rewatching because I've been slow with it rewatching the anime. I'm still rewatching Fishman Island, but it made me miss, like, wow, I miss watching the anime because that's what got me into One Piece in the first place. It wasn't the manga, it was actually the anime, and the way they did it was really well done. Like last, they really captured the emotion, the drama, the intensity of it. Of, like, what we remembered One Piece to be, and also too, like, for example, because I know we all complain or like we ripped Yamato about wanting to be Odin, but the way they did it in the episode, it made me draw back to actually there's emotion behind why she wants to be Odin. It's because she's been locked in a cage or restricted, literally in handcuffs or sea stone cuffs her whole life since she was a kid, right? But she keeps saying it in the anime. She wants to live freely like Odin. So in her mind, especially reading that book, the freest person that she's ever known is actually not her father, is Odin. For Odin did whatever he wanted when he wanted. He truly lived free, So in her, Odin is that person that symbolizes freedom. And she goes, I want to live like that. So I want to live freely like Odin. Now, again, we already know that Luffy is like the symbolic of freedom. She's meeting Luffy now, right? And so, but they capture that in the anime of, like, what I saw with Yamato of why she wants to be Odin. It's not like, oh, she's inspired her, but because she wants to change her living situation. She wants something she's never had before. So that captured where I didn't realize it in the manga or it wouldn't pay attention, but in the show they kind of captured that really, really well. We even watched the other episode with Ace too with Momo, and they showed it again. So I think the episode did really well. Like, I liked it a lot.
1 out of 10.
I'll give it. I know I said all this stuff and I hype it up, but I'm strict with my answer, so I give it a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Seb?
I really did enjoy the episode. We watched it, that night. He ended up live streaming it. It was really cool. That whole experience was really cool. I really did enjoy it. It was so good to me. It got me thinking that Yamato might even join the crew. So that's how you know it was a good episode, because y'all know me. I'm not a Yamato for Next Nakama person. But it got me feeling for her. It got me really thinking, like, oh man, like, I kind of wanted her to join for a second there.
Yeah.
Then I came back to my senses. As far as the rating, I gave it a 9 in the moment. I watched it again, and I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I'm gonna give it 8.5.
What made it go lower?
It's the same issues that I had before, as far as, like, I think I brought it up on the live where I said that them paneling the worst generation versus the Yonko, like, that page wasn't as great, and as great as, like, the that, like, storybook kind of opening was with Yamato, that did drag longer than the second time I watched it. I was like, this is like taking longer than I thought it was gonna. I felt it took the first time.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's probably just me not being a huge Yamato fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah.
8.5, 7? All right. With me, I really liked the way they made Yamato and Ace and their connection seem almost like you were rooting for them to be together, but also for them to one day meet again. And then the fact that, he ended up dying and we saw how emotionally sad she was really brought to the front how much she truly cared, not only about Ace, but about Odin and wanting to be free like Ace and Odin, because necessarily she doesn't want to be Odin. She wants to be like Odin.
Yeah.
And that's the important fact of why she will become the next Nakama, because Ace gives her the story that his brother is going to be this guy you're going to want to follow and you're going to want in Wano, and he's going to set you free. And she sees Luffy now as that person that was to come. So it makes Yamato joining the crew having a stronger case. Now, when it came to the sadness of her losing Ace, it made me feel like the anime or One Piece is always better when Ace is in the picture somehow. And I think that's undoubtedly, we all have to agree, right?
Yeah.
Like every time, it's like Roger. We don't get enough Roger, but when Roger's in it, the show picks up just like that. Even young Whitebeard picks up just like that. We just love seeing those characters. They add something that the show currently doesn't have, which I enjoy to the fullest. And then we get to that whole part of like, how is Yamato the same strength as Ace back then? You know what I'm saying? Like they were even. They clashed evenly. Then we got a little bit more of filler showing that Kaido got fed up with Yamato at a certain point and started going after her. And she had to end up fighting Beast Pirates and also Kaido. So we can see now why she's able to fight Kaido in hybrid form on Onigashima and hold him back for as long as we do. Like, that conversation should be over by now. And I think that the anime perfectly made that happen to where now we can understand why she's at the level she's at. And then when it goes into the whole scene where the Yonkos were versus the Supernovas, I did think the camera was a little too low and the colors were a little too dark to actually capture the moment the same way it happened in the manga, where I was like so excited because I was like, this looks insane. This is probably one of the best 2-page spread drawings that Oda has done in Wano. I was excited to see that, and to see that the lighting was just a little too dark. It brought me off just a bit, but I like the way they used Prometheus in the back of the Yonkos to cast these huge shadows upon the Supernovas and make them seem like monsters that they have to go through. Like, they're not bringing the dawn. They're actually bringing the darkness of the dawn. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to that. We got to get past them. It was little moments in that episode, I was telling Seb, where I don't think much of Kid, but when Kid came through with Killer, and then Killer started laughing,
that was gold.
And Kid started laughing together, I was like, this is what we miss about Luffy and Zoro. We miss the companionship that they both have. And we were so excited to see it happen once again, but it came in the form of Killer and Kid. And I was like, yo, I love the way they laughed together. That was awesome. So then when Luffy walks in between both of the Yonkos, that it was so subtle. It was so great, and it was so powerful, even though it lasted like 5 seconds. It was when Luffy looked at the scabbards in this bright colored green, purple, reds, like it was like a rainbow full of colors, and you see the scabbards all standing up, and they're super happy, and you're like, wow, like that looks beautiful. And then the next second, reality snaps back. The sound even changes a little bit to the point where you're just like, this is much sadder than it actually is. And then you notice all the scabbards are in the same place that they were all happy, but now they're like basically finished. And it showed like that Kinemon, where Sebastian was like, I didn't really think much about the Kinemon moment in the manga, but once it happened in the anime, I was like, he was like, this was so much more powerful. And then the blood that was in, I was just like, they got away with that because of the colors too. But to finish, I know I've been ranting because I'm not very fond of the anime, but I will say this. The episode for me was a 9.5 out of 10. Also, I feel really, really bad for anime-only watchers. And here's why. This is how the anime is supposed to be. There's very rare times where the manga gets surpassed by the anime. You know what I'm saying? The anime is always supposed to surpass the manga in a way because it has voices, it has music, it has colors, it has everything to add that emotional depth that you don't get from the manga, because the manga, you use your imagination to feel these emotions, but they can give you that. They give you this sense of like emotion that you just don't have to create yourself. And when you're so used to seeing mediocrity at the lowest level, and you get a taste of this episode, you start to realize, like, why isn't this every episode? Like, I know you guys don't watch Demon Slayer, but the season 3 of Demon Slayer is art, bro. It is beautiful. Everything about it hits. I went to Demon Slayer, the manga, to read where I left off in the anime, and it was for the first time in a long time I said, the manga is not better than the anime, and I won't read the manga until the anime season comes out. That should be One Piece. Every single episode. They make enough money to do it. They surpass Batman in comic book sales. Toei needs to make this the #1 anime. And I think they could do it by doing this every episode. Also, to finish it off, I know I was just going on to be able to have this type of episode and have the sound waves go through the community the way it is, and it's such positivity, to end it with a flashback episode next week where they're like rehashing all of Wano. Evil. Evil. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Because they just took a break for whatever hack that just happened like 3 weeks. Don't do that, yo. You got some hardcore anime fans, like, don't do that to them. They deserve better. They do.
They be